Ok, clase. Para esta noche, for tonight, vamos a hablar. We're going to talk about the fun and exciting world of possessive adjectives. And believe it or not, some of y'all have already used some of these in the sentences that we've been doing. So kudos to you guys. All right. So first off, the first thing you need to know, adjectives describe nouns, right? Well, they can also show possession. So let's figure out what that means. So first, let's look at the possessive adjectives in English. We have my, which the plural of that would be our. We have your. And we have his, her, its, and the plural of that would be their. So again, the possessive adjectives in English. My, your, his, her, its, our, their. And in Spanish, it's the same thing. Let's figure out what they are in Spanish. Well, let's look at an English example first. So, my dog, your house, her uncle, our Spanish class, their friend. So, here they are in Espanol. Okay, first you need to know that they show ownership or relationships between people. So, they're placed before the noun. So, let's arrow over. So, make a note of that. They're placed before the noun, just like in English. My dog, right? Your cat, they're placed before the noun. So you have singular and plural, just like in English. For singular, we have me and mis. Both of these mean my, both of them. This one, though, depending on the noun that comes after it, it has to agree with it. And this one, if it has to agree with the other one. So we'll figure out in a second. You have tu and tus. Again, both of these mean your. Just depends on the noun that follows it, which one you're going to use. Su and sus, this one means his, her, its, or your formally. We're, depending on the context, you won't know which one to use, but you will, in a certain sentence that I'll give y'all and so forth, you'll be able to know which one to use. Over here, the plural, nuestra and nuestro, or nuestros and nuestras. So 4 different ones. Nuestro, nuestra, nuestros, nuestras. All of those mean our. And then we have su and sus, just like over here. They can also mean their and your formally. So both su and sus can be singular and plural. So those 2 little words right here can mean a lot. It just depends on the context of the sentence. But again, we'll practice with that and you'll get it in no time. All right. In English, the possessive adjectives his, her, and their tell whether something belongs to a male, a female, or more than one person, right? So looking at it, his, you know that belongs to a male, her, a female, and their, more than one person. In Spanish, the possessive adjective su, the possessive adjective su has many possible meanings, like I just talked about. His, her, its, your, and their. So context usually makes the meaning clearer. So don't get confused with the ones in English, because in Spanish, all of these mean su, every single one. Okay? So moving on. Alrighty, so here is algunos ejemplos. Mi hermano, mis hermanos. So this means my brother. This means my brothers. So again, both me and mis mean my. But hermano means brother and hermanos mean brothers. So even though both me and mis are singular, mis has to match hermanos. You can't say mi hermanos. You have to say mis hermanos. So they have to match, just like the nouns and the adjectives, right? These are possessive adjectives, so same thing applies. So again, even though me and mis mean my, depending on the noun that follows, it has to match. Same here. Tu abuela, your grandmother. Tus abuelas, your grandmothers. So again, both tu and tus mean your, but depending on the noun that follows, it has to match. Su hijo, sus hijos. Your son, or his son, or her son. His, her, their sons. Muy bien. Nuestro tío, nuestra tía, nuestros tíos, nuestras tías. Our uncle, our aunt, our uncles, our aunts. Muy bien. Okay, so the possessive adjective must be singular if the noun is singular and plural if the noun is plural. So we just talked about that. They have to match. While possessive adjectives refer to the owner, their form agrees in gender and number with the noun that comes after. So what does that mean? Let's look at an example that's kind of blurry. So look at this sentence. Martin vive, he lives with his grandparents. Now, the word his is referring to Martin, right? Martin, his, right? But, so even though it's referring to Martin, his is referring to Martin, it has to agree with the noun that follows it, right? So, sus abuelos, sus abuelos. He lives with his grandparents. Same thing here. Carlos y yo, Carlos and I, we live with our grandmother. Well, our is referring to Carlos y yo, we. But again, our has to agree with the noun that follows. Okay? Here are más ejemplos. Mi prima es alta. My cousin is tall. Todas mis primas son altas. All of my cousins are tall. So again, mi has to agree with prima, and mis agrees with primas and altas, right? So everything has to agree. The nouns and adjectives, whatever adjective it may be, has to agree. Here's an example in question form. ¿Son rubios los hermanos de Rafael? Are the brothers of Rafael blondes? No. His brothers are redheads. Sus hermanos son pelirrojos. All right. Now, in Spanish, there are no apostrophes. So you cannot say, for example, Jorge's dog using an apostrophe. You can't do that. This is how you would show possession. You must say the dog of Jorge. So not Jorge's dog, but the dog of Jorge. What does that look like? El perro de Jorge. The dog, you know how to use the articles and nouns, the dog of Jorge. So it's de, which means of, plus the noun. This concept of showing possession is usually using de plus noun. So for example, let's look at some. Tengo el cuaderno de Felipe. I have, you just learned this, I have the notebook of Felipe. Or in English we would say, I have Felipe's notebook. La hermana de María es amable. The sister of Maria is nice. Or in English we would say, Maria's sister is nice. ¿De dónde es la madre de Juan? From where or of where is the mom of Juan? Su madre es de Perú. She is from Peru. His mom is from Peru. And that is all. Thought I might end it with a little cute Mexican kid. And yes, he is Mexican. I'm not stereotyping. He's Mexican. Anyway, I thought I might end the little show with that. So, muy bien. The possessive adjectives really aren't that hard. Once you get them, it'll be so easy for y'all to do. So I encourage y'all practice with these. Come to class tomorrow ready with questions if you have them. And we're going to do some practice examples. Okay? Adiós y chao.